Thanksgiving season is now among us. I have to go hunting to keep my family alive in these hard winter times. I'm going to use these arrows and this bow. Now that I see the deer is in shooting range, I can take a clear shot. Now I have caught this deer and sacrificed its life so I can feed my family and give my family the needs that they need, that they have to survive. I'm going to use its hide to make clothing, moccasins. These are things that will all help us to survive these hunger times. Now that I have the deer, I'm going to remove its hide. Now that I've killed the deer, I strung it up on this frame, and I'm going to use this sharp tool. It's sharp as a razor blade, so I can cut the hair. You want to start at the top and bring it down, and you want to press down hard so you can get every part out. This is a real deer hide. Once I get all the hair off, I can soak it in brains, and that will make it soft. And that will make it softer so I can make clothing or other things, or like clothes that I am wearing here. This may take ages of work, but it is worth it when you get warm clothes for winter times. Now that I have removed all of the hair, I have to make sure, do you see all this darker yellow stuff? The darker, I have to roll it out or it won't soften like I want it to. I have to make sure I get all of this out. Once I do have all of it out, I would want to flip to the back of the deer hide. This is would be the inside of the deer, and you want to remove all the flesh from the back side. So now that we've scraped off all the hair and all the flesh on the back side of it, which is this side, I'm going to start at the bottom with scissors, and I'm going to cut the rim. The yellow part I don't want to cut, so I just want to cut right where the yellow part starts, right around here. I'm going to start right on the bottom. Little cup here. I'm going to keep on cutting through here. Right along this yellow side right here. The hide is really sort of tough because you got to think this is skin. So once I have all of this cut right along the line where I want it to be, what we're going to do is we're going to soak it. Well, brains we cannot really find. I was hoping we would do brains, but instead we are going to do warm water and Myers soap, which is a mixture of oil. That'll get it soft, and we're going to knead our hands to make it really nice and soft, so it'll be better for clothing. The extra part right here we're going to use later. We can make little strips that we can use all sorts of stuff with these little straps. You can make shoelaces. You can do a ton of stuff with little scraps. We use every little bit that we can find. Now that we've got almost half of the hide cut out, we're going to continue cutting. Caution, don't do this at home without supervision of an adult. Now we are nearing the very end of our hide. And now should look like when you're finished cutting and scraping. Now that we've cut out our hide how we want it, we have to soak it to make the leather softer. Right now, it's really hard and stiff and curly. So our mixture that we're using, we would have used brains though, but we couldn't really find them. So we use warm water, which I already have in here, and then we're going to use this Murphy soap. Okay. Then we just put the hide inside the mixture and we let it soak overnight. So when we get it out in the morning, it'll be nice and soft. Now we have to wait overnight until we get to our next step. Now that we've soaked it overnight, we have it right here and it's softer now. And you have to keep kneading it or else it will get hard and stiff again. You just gotta keep on moving it around. So we want to get it pliable and soft. As you see, it was all rolled up, but now it's all bendy. I'm gonna squeeze out all the water, every little droplet. I've taken the hide out of the water. I'm going to use a few different methods to help dry the hide. Now I have the hide and I'm going to squeeze every tiny bit of moisture after I soaked it. And easy to stick. Right here, and it's going to keep on dripping. This is the point we want to get all the water out. If you just try to regularly twist it, you won't get all of the rest of the stuff out. You got to keep pulling back or else it'll unwind. You see, it's kind of getting all wet. It's getting wet and it's not like this anymore. It's getting all of that water that was left in there from soaking it. Now that we've got almost all of the water out, we're going to undo it and get to our next step. Another way to dry it is getting a copper pole and nailing it to a tree and just moving it like this. Copper gets hot really, really, really fast. So when I do this, I'm creating friction and it gets it hot, so it gets the hide hot so it dries out. And when you stop, when you touch the pole, it's really, really warm. Now I am going to get the fibers really, really loose because right now they're like this. And I want to loosen them up so it makes the hide softer. So I'm going to keep on drying it, so I'm going to beat it against the screen. I'm missing it. Now that I've been doing this for a while, it keeps getting rough. And it's a lot of work on your hands to keep kneading it and making it softer and softer. It takes ages, but it's worth it in the end. You gotta keep flipping it over so each side gets really soft. You see all these little pieces right here? All these little rough spots here? That's a little bit of flesh. Some that I didn't get off quite as well, but I'm rubbing it off on the tree, which is gonna help it get off more, but it won't really exactly matter in the end, but I don't really like a fleshy one. With this, I'm going to make my own bag. Now we don't do it this way anymore, but manufacturing companies, when they do it different. Well, I like doing it this way. Number one, it's more fun. Number two, it's much cooler. And number three, just the satisfaction of doing something really big on your own. Now that this hide is dry, I'm going to sew it into a sleeve. So when I put it on a fire, the smoke is going to get trapped inside, which will make it water resistant. So this is how you want to sew it. You want to get it through the hole, one hole. It's really actually quite easy. Then you just get it through the matching one, right here. Some of them are kind of tough. See? I'm going to pull it through. Another caution, don't try this at home without a parent. You might want to get some supervision. Using this wood, it's called punk wood, to just make a fire that smokes. Now that I've sewed the sleeve, I'm sewing it onto a pant leg or a skirt. And what the pant leg does is right here is really getting hotter. So when the smoke comes up, this cools it down before it gets up here, so this doesn't completely burn. So I've sewed this on here, and I didn't do my best sewing, so some of the smoke is escaping through the edges parts of here. And I also tied it down here because if I didn't, the smoke would be coming out from here. And these little holes, there's some little holes like right down there. Smoke can come out of there right now. So we took rocks and we pushed it in here so the smoke stays and has nowhere to go but up. The inside of this is smoking, but what you need to do, maybe after 2 hours, undo these and switch it, like flip it over, because we want the outside to get smoked to a color too. That is how you smoke a hat. Now that it's smoked to this color, I am going to cut it off. I'm going to just cut the thread because I don't want to cut the pant leg or the buckskin. Just going to cut every little time. Now I cut it all off, and this is my final buckskin. They make a ton of stuff when this is finally finished. They would make something to carry a baby in. They would make moccasins, clothes, bags, like sewing needle little pouches, knife pouches. With this particular buckskin, I'm actually going to make a bag to carry around my stuff. And I think I got this side a little bit too burnt. Well, a little bit too smoked, but otherwise I think I made an all-natural buckskin. Now that